YouTube, Shogun Stoby here with the review of the Power Ranger Super Samurai BullZooka. It's not in its package because it's right here, but this is the packaging with Super Samurai Red Ranger here with the BullZooka Disk. It kind of looks like he's holding it somewhat, not really, but basically the typical deluxe battle style packaging with a awesome kid back here trying to snipe with the tiny BullZooka. And just showing how everything combines, and there's a mask that I may or may not get, I don't know yet. But anyway, enough of that, and on to the actual BullZooka. Different perspective for this review, obviously. When we get into the combinations, things get kind of large, and I don't have the camera space for it in my normal review setup, so we're taking this approach. So here's the tiny BullZooka. As you can see, it is pretty small. This is basically just to fit inside of the typical Bandai of America weapon size. So sadly we can't get anything as awesome as the Mega Blade, but this still isn't that bad. The grip is actually quite thick compared to most weapons, so it actually is fits pretty nice in the hand, even for adult collectors. And outside of that, it's just kind of overall pretty small. I mean, here is the Mougyuu Bazooka, the Japanese version, and when we stack them up, you can see that it is quite a bit larger. So, yeah, there really isn't too many features lost despite the size difference. The only main feature is that this was an automatic thing in the Mougyuu Bazooka, and there's no light here. In fact, there's not even any paint here. But that's the only loss of features. But you get an additional feature by being able to read the copyright laws and everything right there on the little flip lid right there. So if you're bored, you can read that. That's fun. So yeah, the switch is right here to turn it on, so go ahead and do that. So you get the main bull noise that you would get if you tried to fire this one normally. So there's that going on. There's only two firing noises for the BullZooka. There is the one without a disc in it, which is the one from where you hold down the trigger on the Mougyuu Bazooka, and then there's one where you insert the disc. Here is the BullZooka disc that comes with it. Pretty much like the Japanese one, just smaller, and it's made of a kind of translucent white plastic. So that's pretty interesting. And for those people that want to see it on the spin sword, take a look at that. So it does that animation, which is always fun. That is the gimmick of this after all. So you take that and insert it right here. So you'll get an inserty disc noise, and then when you pull down the trigger, you'll get a longer sword slashy explosion filled sound effect. That is when you put the Shrunken in this one. Yeah, it's missing a horn. It fell somewhere and I don't know where it went. When you put the Shrunken in here to make the Super Mougyuu Bazooka, it makes that noise when you pull the trigger. So, most of the sounds from the Mougyuu Bazooka are in this. It's just that one, it lacks the just standard firing sound, which is kind of a shame, so you're always stuck with the loud cow noises. But it's still pretty nice altogether despite the small size. So obviously this does combine with the Super Spin Sword and the Mega Blade. So first with the Super Spin Sword, take the disc out. You'll get that noise. And then pull this little flap right here, and then that will open. Take the Super Spin Sword with the Spin Sword in the black box. Put the Super Disc right there on the Spin Sword. And basically just slot it right into this opening right here. It will kind of lock in place right here, but outside of that there's no real clicks or anything. Close that up, and now you have the Super BullZooka. Now this is actually quite a weird combination. You do have to flip this down too. As you can see, the head will fold right down. So the Super Mougyuu Bazooka, the Super BullZooka, is actually a little bit weird. Compared to the Super Mougyuu Bazooka here, which has a tiny bit of blade coming out, is actually, despite the weird proportions with the black box, or the Inromaru from Shrinkage, is actually more proportioned to how it is in the show. Compared to the Super BullZooka, we have a 6-inch blade sticking out here on top of the already 12-inch gun. So that actually makes it about the same length as the Japanese release, give or take. But again, because of how small the actual Bullzuka is, you've got this huge blade sticking out here, and it makes it not screen accurate. But it is kind of cool, despite the non-screen accuracy portion of it, because you do get this cool like bayonet on it, so you can like shank people with the Bullzuka. That's always fun. You can just like slash people with it. In fact, you can fold this up and kind of make it into a weird quasi-sword thing. But so yeah, it's kind of a hit or miss depending on your taste. If you want screen accuracy, obviously this isn't going to work. And there is one thing I forgot that you're supposed to do, is put the BullZooka Disk into the black box there. Now we have the Super BullZooka, but of course that does absolutely nothing for the overall gimmick of the device, just for looks. So, as I mentioned, it does not change the sound effects at all. And in fact, it doesn't even activate any sound effects. So it's all purely cosmetic, really. But again, it's up to taste on whether you think this is cool or not. I actually kind of like it, in a way. It's not accurate, but like I said, I like the fact that there's a giant bayonet on it. And so now, stepping away from things that have been done previously, this can combine with the Mega Blade. How do these combine? It's so not proportionate and stuff. Yeah, it's still not really proportionate when you combine them, but it is pretty interesting. So what you're going to do is take this little gold button right here, and then that will allow the holster to go up and lock in place like that. Again, flip that open. You're going to want to hold down the Shiba logo right here. That will open up a clip inside of here, if you can see that. And then what you want to do is take this clip part right here, put it into the holster of the Bullzuka, close it, close that. It's nice and secure in place, and now you have the Shogun Spear. This is actually a very impressive 36 inches long, give or take. I was measuring with a ruler, so it might be off a little bit. But roughly 3 feet long, which is really awesome, particularly for a Power Rangers weapon. Usually Sentai gets the kick of having decent weapons. But thanks to the sheer length of the Mega Blade, this is actually a very impressive weapon. Granted, the Bullzuka sitting here looks kind of odd. It's just pretty much tacked on right to the end of it. Nothing else is really done with it. You can kind of create your own battle scenarios. You can kind of make this a shoulder-mounted cannon of sorts. You can do it underhand if you wanted to. You can just pretend it's a ornament for the Mega Blade, or you can hold it correctly according to the show and the instructions, and hold it right here, and then you can stab people with the bull, and then slice their head off with the rest of the Mega Blade. Things like that. But this is really cool in a weird, simplistic way. I mean, you're just taking the Bullzuka and attaching it to a sword. So in retrospect, it's kind of stupid, but I think what makes this really cool is the fact that it is 36 inches long. And just for, I mean, adult collectors, that's actually fairly in scale to a weapon of sorts. I mean, not a spear. A spear would be much larger than this, obviously. But, I mean, to kids, this is obviously a monstrosity of a weapon in terms of size. And I think it's actually kind of neat. Obviously, you can't combine the Mega Blade with the Mougyuu Bazooka or anything like that. So this is a 100%, I'm not going to say American exclusive because Europe's going to get it and stuff, but a Power Rangers exclusive weapon. And, I mean, this was too, so it's kind of obvious, but it's overall pretty neat, and I have to say that I really dig this combination. Whether it'll end up in my display like this, I'm not entirely sure yet, but this is really cool, and one of the main selling points of this thing, I believe. So to get that out, you just flip that open, press the Shiba Clan logo, and then pop this right out. So we'll just set that down there, and then again, hit the gold button, and swing this down. Pop that back up. Take the disc, wherever it is, it's in the black box still. And we're back to the normal Bullzuka. So, I'm just going to hold this here and talk. I really like it. It's not really worth the $25 compared to maybe the Shogun buckle or the Mega Blade. But, if you have the Mega Blade, I definitely recommend picking this up. If you don't have the Mega Blade, but you have this part, I still recommend picking it up. If you don't have any of the weapons, this is kind of a pointless toy. It's small, it's not accurate in certain ways, mostly because of the size. It only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sounds, and one of those is turning it on, and 2 of those are taking the disc on and off. So, on and in and off, something. So on its own, I don't particularly recommend it. However, if you have the spin sword in the black box, if you have the Mega Blade, then by all means pick this up. The combinations are really fun, and like I said, the Shogun Spear is actually a really impressive combination once you put it all together, and it's actually why I like this thing. So I'll leave it at that. You can find this at most major retailers for around $24.99. Give or take. I found this at Walmart, so keep your eyes open. It is very new, so it might take a little bit of time for it to trickle into most store locations. So you can check out ShogunShowbiz.com for latest updates on my reviews and hauls. And of course, check out RidersRangersandRebels.com, bringing the latest token news in the craziest way possible. So take care, and have a great one. Bye.